First off, rest in peace, neighborhood nip. I ain't crip, but I'm on that neighborhood shoot. Building businesses that black owned. If you hustle, better hustle till your pack gone. If you work, better work till your back hurt. And if you rap, make it better than your last verse. Yeah, more lyrics. Stick and move, Javante Davis.
AJ, El Presidente, Eddie Kane University. Hill gon' heal, regardless. You, Buchanan, Bethel High School, by way of 3-Man Weave, LLC.
Michelle, producer, Faith Over Fear.
You can catch this wave from the Marlins to the Mariners. Doing things you can't believe. It's the 3-Man Weave.
Yo, what's going on? It's another episode of the 3-Man Weave post NFL Draft edition. It was a long weekend, but
yes, sir,
made it. Some joyful moments, some heartbreaking moments, a little bit of slip and slide crew. You know what I'm saying? But it all brings us right back here. I am your host, one of the members of the 3-Man Weave podcast, AJ. And who do I have with me?
You know, it's your boy Hill. And Hill gonna heal regardless, baby. Let's get to it, man.
Let's get to it. Hey, Joe Shane, get your house in order. Because just know, some people don't take too kindly to having their info leaked. And if that's true, I think consequences should be levied, because I think it's not right. It's not right at all.
That's true.
But hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. Where you want to start, man? You want to just go ahead and jump right into this draft?
Yeah, man, let's go ahead and give a brief overview of how we really felt about the draft. And some we made some predictions and some things that, you know, they came into fruition, either, you know, good or bad on the prediction, you know. So
yeah, for sure. I think, you know, like I said, we definitely talked about this being one of those extremely unpredictable drafts, because it was a draft where a lot of talent could be viewed in different aspects. And I think we did get that. Some players that we thought would be, you know, very, very high picks didn't last too long. And some players kind of, you know, shocked us at where they went. But overall, as the draft was going, I think some of it really actually stood up that, you know, this may not be a star-studded draft, but it actually has some talent late into this draft. And a lot of notable names I think could come in and contribute were still getting picked, you know, mid to late day 3.
I know we get a reminder every year about the media scouts and how they board, and you know, CBS, ESPN, PFF, you know, how they project certain players to go certain players, and then we always get that reality check that teams' boards are totally different. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Always.
This was the particular draft that we really got that, you know, bold face reminder that, you know, certain things that we thought was going to happen definitely did not happen. And I kind of told you about the running backs. Everybody we listened to, everybody we talked to, you know, they were so deep at running back. It's gonna be a running back. You got to go get the run. You got to go get your running back early. And team said, no, we don't.
Yeah.
Like, they literally said, no, we don't. So, you know, it was the funniest thing about it. Like, the first 2 running backs went off like we thought they were going to go. You know, you might have thought Hampton would have went to the Broncos. I get that, but he ended up going to the Chargers, another place where he was projected to go to. Yeah. And then the two Ohio State running backs came off, and that was it. And then everybody else waited. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Waited till it was normal running back time. You know.
Yeah, and to be quite honest, some of those teams that got those, those two, I think it was the Browns and who I can't remember who else, but getting the Ohio State running backs, to be quite honest, I feel like they could have waited too, to be quite honest, because there was still good names on the boards that you could have built elsewhere. But, you know, I think it
It
made sense at the time. And like we said, and this is one of those drafts, go get your guy.
because I mean it was I mean it was quite funny. It's like if we really, really, really thought about it, like who really needed running backs? You know what I'm saying? It was only a select few that really needed running back. Now, this was the time that if you wanted one, you could get
To
you
to
could get one.
add to your stable for
Yeah,
sure.
you could get one, but it was very select few of teams that really needed one, and like I said, it showed. Like I said, the Browns went like when they immediately got Quinshon Junkins, it made sense. But then
Yeah,
for
for
them,
sure.
but for them to double dip and get Dylan Sampson for somebody that supposedly dropped on boards, they were like, bro, of course we're going to get both running backs. Like,
Especially, with Stefanski and the way that he likes to, handle his offense. If, we saw kind of, what happened when Nick Chubb went out with that injury, they were able to kind of piece some stuff together for a little while, but they really wanted some people with some that dynamic ability. So I think it only made sense going to get Quinshon Judkins and then being able to add a Dylan Sampson who has, even like almost it could almost be his version of Travion Henderson in the NFL.
exactly. And I'm looking at man, they should have been on. I don't know if they've made your list, but we'll wait till when we get there. But yeah, overall, like we said, people are going to go get their guys, and it seemed like teams had a plan. Like, for example, the Bills. The Bills went heavy defense. They went so defensive heavy. It was like their defense was trash. It was like, hold on.
Yeah.
I'm thinking to myself, like, was the defense trash? But it made sense. They had a game plan. Like,
Yeah. And again, this is kind of what I always say about the draft. You're basically just trying to cash lottery tickets. And the best way to cash those tickets is just buy as many as you can and hoping something can hit. And then even with what they did with getting Caden Prather in the 7th round. I like Caden Prather. He's not a finished product, so that's why he is a 7th rounder. But
yeah,
it's like now it's like, okay, you can add someone to kind of raise that floor in your wide receiver room. You get you another receiver with some good size and that contested catch ability and still can move. So it's just like, hey, it don't hurt. It doesn't hurt at all. And they went and got another tight end also.
yeah.
And and he's really like he's really good in the
Run game. Yeah.
in the run game, and we know what they're trying to do. We saw kind of that James Cook breakout last year, so it's like defense. We can make you a actual strength and get some depth.
Mm-hmm.
It's a problem. This is going to be a trend of once we get to our winners. I'll go ahead and just say it to kind of get my version up out of there of winners so I can really speak on some of the teams that I really want to highlight.
Mm-hmm.
Most of my winners are everybody that was at least in the divisional round of the playoffs last year, damn near.
Yeah.
that is really my winners. Almost everybody that was in the divisional round of the playoffs, they cooked.
Yes. I mean, literally all of them. Like,
Yeah.
so it was, and it proves why like those teams are good teams. So I mean, let's get let's move on. Before we move on to all the other teams, let's take a time out. Let's talk about our teams first, and I'll give you the floor for you to discuss. Or you want me to go first?
You go first. Let's we'll start on a high note. I'll bring the mood down, and then we'll kind of get back, come back to the winners.
With the Cowboys, definitely they went in there with it seemed like they went in there with a game plan, but I think they really just trusted their board. They trusted it. You could tell by the picks that they made, especially early on, that they trusted their board, and they really relied on the work that they did. Like you say, to go get a Tyler Booker first, you know, it's like, okay, we needed a wide receiver, and wide receiver. It's like, okay, listen, Tyler Booker is a dog, and he's high. He's rated higher on our board than a Matthew Golden or a Buka, because Ted McMillan was gone at the time. You know, so they were very high on Ted McMillan. So you trusted your board, you trusted your work. Cool. At some point, you can't get but so mad at teams trusting their board. You know, you don't want them jumping tags and doing other things and start reaching for other stuff. You want them to continue doing the work. Okay. I was not really feeling the Tyler Booker pick at first. I'm like, I gotta see the rest of the draft for me to feel comfortable. Getting Donovan Izireki, Raku.
There you go.
There we go. I was gonna get there eventually. Getting him, one of our favorite edge rushers in the draft. You know what I'm saying? He cracked our top 5. Getting him, I'm like, okay, this lets me further know that I'm really just following that board, because I'm sure that it was a wide receiver that we could have got at this moment. It could have been a running back at this moment. It could have been a cornerback at this moment. It's like, okay, they are really trusting their board at this point. And then you get a Siobhan Ravel and, you know, a cornerback in the 3rd round who was projected a 1st round pick, you know, despite his injury, you know, according to some, but, you know, his injury caused him to drop. And then, you know, you got lucky with some of the running back, like the running back falling or staying in place.
For sure.
You know, for you to get a Jadon Blue, you know, for you to get a Phil what's Moffer.
Phil Moffer.
Yeah. I said I'm about to go get there. Tough names. But you to double dip on the position that a lot of fans wanted us to double dip on as well. You know, got another interior offensive lineman as well. Make that a strength. And then you go get another defensive tackle. Like, you address all the holes in your need with the draft, except wide receiver. Now you know for a fact that it's time to go focus on something else. Yeah. Also, we got a linebacker as well. But it's time to go focus all your energy now to go try to find a wide receiver too, of some sort. Yeah. I give my team hell, but at some point, what more can I ask for from this part of the process? That's all I can say.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to our guy Robbie. Said Patriots won the draft. They are definitely one of those teams that are on my list where I'm like, goodness gracious.
Yeah, and I just looked when he said it, and my guy Albert stole my thunder.
Yeah, don't worry, because we go get there. We still gonna break their draft down. But our guy Albert said, "Sorry, I'm late." Nah, you ain't late. You early.
He actually right on time.
Jalen Royal to the Chief Hurts, man, and Omar Norman Lott, the best passing rushing DT with Chris Jones. Yeah, we gonna get there. That's gonna be something we'll be talking about.
Yeah, but go ahead and discuss yours, man.
This draft, we went into this draft, and I believe I told you this offline, and just kind of said that this is most likely the most important draft in the Joe Burrow era, because now we signed those big contracts. So all of those draft misses that we missed on, you know, previously while he was on the rookie contract, this put us in a different level of urgency. And I completely think that, you know, like what's going on, Ryan. I think that just how you talked about early, how a lot of teams looked like they had a plan going into this draft.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like we didn't. It looked like we were just like, okay, let's go. You know, these are some of the players that we visit, like that we liked. We have to fill these dire needs. So this is just it. Like, we have to go fill these needs, and that's it. So I guess maybe you could consider that a plan, but if that's your plan, that is not a good plan. And I've always said before, at least try and be close to average as possible in free agency, go into the draft. And I think that we reached so much early. Like, I've rationalized it, but just as a whole, to watch some of the players that went after each pick that we made,
Mhm.
I still like, it was almost like a domino effect, and we're almost chasing our tail. Like you went Shamar Stewart in round 1, and I shot him some bail because I know for a fact Walter Nolan was who
Yeah.
they wanted to pick. And to me, it was they just fell back onto their tendencies. And this is how they ended up drafting Myles Murphy. A big guy, traits. Let's see if we can get something else out of him.
Mhm.
And to me, it's just like, okay, I understand. I guess I can rationalize it, and we'll make it happen. But where things kind of went off the rails for me is getting Demetrius Knight round 2. Because to me, that's not your biggest need. I understand you want linebackers, and maybe Al Golden is coming in and he wants his guy. But also, I feel as if there's got to be some conversations, because guess what? Cody Ford and Cordell Volson, 2 people that should not be starting, are your like basically penciled in starting guards coming into the draft.
Yeah.
And
Nasty work.
to me, if Demetrius Knight is higher than Tate Ratledge on your board, if Demetrius Knight is higher than Wyatt Millum, if
Mhm.
Demetrius there's plenty of names where it's like, if Demetrius Knight is the highest name on your board in round 2, your process is broken. Because what kind of evaluation are you doing? Because we see almost at least every other offseason, the Bengals have an issue with paying somebody that's in their age 30 season. And now you're going to sign a linebacker who's already 25. So I'm just I'm so confused on what we were doing there. And then to go after that, we get a guard, and I like that. I like the pick, but it's just like, okay, if you're gonna follow that up with a guard, you should have got the better guard in round 2. You passed on his teammate to draft this linebacker to get the worst, like the lesser of the teammates. And then the following round, you get a linebacker with the same exact skill set as who you drafted in round 2. So now, not only did I may have been able to rationalize it if you double dipped and got a linebacker with, some pass rush ability, or a linebacker who was like, you know what, who's great. What happened?
Yo, the Clippers then came back. Like,
Woo.
it's nasty. And they came back, and Jokic missed a free throw to take the lead, and now it's tied up. It's 50 seconds left. 50 seconds left. Well, I'm delayed, so but yeah, that's why I'm looking now at this way. I had to.
I might need to pull that up. But so it's just like, it just became redundant. And unfortunately, like, yeah, I started to enjoy the picks that were lower down in the draft. But to me, that's too late, because now I'm just looking at like, okay, I'm sorry. I'm not expecting 5th, 6th round picks to be something on your roster, outside. Like, if they make the roster, that's a good thing. You know what I'm saying? So now it's just like, what happened?
Yeah.
What happened?
That boy Jokic.
Oh, god damn. But now it's like, just to think that, a 6th round pick and your 5th round pick are actually going to be immediate contributors because that's what you need, then we got a problem. That's a problem, and I just don't like it. And so I do think the Bengals had one of the worst drafts out of any team in the NFL this season. And what makes that so sad is I also think that this is one of our better drafts that we've had in the last 3 years. That's what's so sad about this, to be quite honest.
I'm gonna give y'all some game, y'all. Like, me and AJ was together in person yesterday, and I've been trying to rationalize some of these picks, and so he wouldn't snap. So this is the best calm down version of that you are going to get, and y'all can thank me, or y'all can get mad at me for that.
Because there was definitely a glitch coming. Yeah. It was definitely about to be a glitch, because I was about to come in this heated. But
while we still on the recap mode, Maxwell Harrison is not that much better than Trey Amos, and he went past 56. Imagine the LSU pick in the first. That is definitely a luxury pick view because he thought it was a Bills podcast. So,
right, yeah, I peeped that.
so Maxwell Harrison going to the Bills makes everything feel like differently because however you feel about it's like one of those things like you may not like the player, but you like the fit. So now you like the player. So like Maxwell Harrison wasn't high. He wasn't one of the top cornerbacks on our board. Not on our board. I like the player, but now you put him in this system.
Yeah, and he wasn't. And let's also not forget he wasn't far off, in my opinion, from Trey Amos. And I think that in this system,
Trey Amos is the better corner.
I think Trey Amos may be the better corner, but I also think Maxwell Harrison might be the better zone corner.
Yeah. See, once again, now when we talk about team fit,
exactly. And then when you already have Christian Benford, I think being able to actually get someone with his level of athleticism, I think it's a great fit, especially with what they did everywhere else on the defensive side. Because again, now you throw TJ Sanders in there as a 3 technique who can get after the quarterback. You throw Landon Jackson in there, and you also got a Deion Walker if he ever can get healthy and get to what we think he can be. Like that alone is just like, okay, we got something here. And again, like I said, I think coming into this coming into the season, I think you have your corner set because I think with what McDermott wants to run, I think Maxwell Harrison may have been the better fit over Trey Amos. And it's very similar to kind of what we did, like when we talked about Sauce and then them getting Azareye'h Thomas. It's like, you weren't really high on Azareye'h Thomas. And then compared to where I had him.
Yeah.
You weren't high on Azareye'h Thomas compared to where I had him. And then he goes to the Jets and it's like,
and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm loving that. I'm loving this for sure.
To get with Aaron Glenn, and now you basically got 2 man corners,
and
it's like, okay, it's like we said, you can see the vision, and that's what I like with some of these teams where it's like, damn, I can see the vision. Who did it?
Oh.
What Jokic did, because I know it was him.
Bro, no, he missed. He did a step back running one leg 3. He missed it, but he airballed it so bad it ended up being a oop to Aaron Gordon. And did he get it off in time?
He got it off in time.
Oh my God, that's in the rim, bro. That's game.
That's crazy.
Yo, that is game. You gotta let him win. Like it's one of those. I don't even care at this point. Like
you gotta let him get it off.
I don't care if it was this much as you gotta let him win, bro. Oh, come on, bro. I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all got to cut it on wherever you're at. Cut it on. Pull over. Pull up on your phone. Whatever you got to do. That is game. There's no way it's not game. That's when the buzzer goes off. It is in the rim. The ball is in the rim, bro.
That's crazy.
I understand that he's probably possibly still touching it. It's in the rim.
Damn.
And I'm delayed, so come on, y'all.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I just seen it.
Come on, yo. You got it. Don't ruin this moment. That's game, bro. That is game, dog. Don't ruin this moment, NBA. Don't ruin this moment, NBA. Come on, NBA. You cannot ruin this moment. That's one of the all-timers, though.
Yeah, hopefully that erases. Okay, I was looking at the Bengals pick. You said they got the same like.
Oh, but back to what oh, I'm sorry, we'll go back to what I was looking. I
You
pulled up the
good?
bill. The Bills had pulled up not only did they get Maxwell Harrison, they got a plethora of corners. They ended up getting Jordan Hancock from Ohio State, and they got Dorian Strong
Dorian
from Virginia
Strong,
Tech.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
they
And
knew
they're all like and Dorian Strong is a zone corner too.
And Jordan Hancock, they played Ohio State started to play a whole lot of zone towards the end. Like,
and so I think that
so he had
again,
a vision.
Yeah, it was the plan, and it's like, okay, let's get players in here that actually can follow, not follow, but fit the scheme. What up, Big Hill? What up, Big Show?
That's my game over.
Yeah.
They could not ruin this moment. I'm sorry. They could not ruin it. I don't care what they thought. It was the letter of the law. His finger still touching it. Whatever. That is too amazing for them to ever overturn that. I'm sorry, Nuggets, Clippers fans. There's no hate towards the Clippers fans. Y'all made an amazing comeback. I get all that. It's no way that you could just ruin this moment for Aaron Gordon. It's no way. It's no way. Air ball oop game winner. Like, we never seen that before, bro. Like, there's no way you taking that away from him. And now that series is tied 2-2. Like we thought about this series. This series is a close series. You know what I'm saying? And shouts out to that. But let's continue with our winners, man.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to kind of just I'm not gonna say I'm cheating, but this is one of my favorite teams going into last season.
Yeah, that's why I didn't do it. Go ahead.
And I just think that, they hit, and we felt that, okay, if they can get in here, add to their defense, and really become a force on both sides of the ball, they can really make some noise. And I'm speaking about the team that stole who I wanted to draft, and that's the Arizona Cardinals. I think the Arizona Cardinals did a great job in this draft, and it was almost as if they kind of basically looked at what some of these great teams do and were like, let's not overthink it. Let's see what is the best player that is just like there on the board when we come up. And that's how you end up with a Walter Nolan, where not only the player meets a need, but it's a high-level player. It meets your need. You didn't overthink it. You didn't say, oh, we've already spent so many resources on the defensive line prior, in past drafts and this and that. No, go get a high-level, interior pass rusher, add in a rotation. Jonathan Gannon, he comes from that Eagles, background where it's like he knows, okay, trenches. Just, it don't matter. Just like you can't have too many. And you know what else you can't have too many of? Corners. And guess what? A top 10 talent in this draft fell to them because of injury in the second round. And people have been saying, it's a possibility that down the line this injury could, cause trouble. But hey, guess what? Look, let's just go ahead, get them in here, and while it happens, while we can get them, let's manage it. But that's too good of a talent, from what we have in like available to pass up on that. And it's just like they brought them in here, and it's just like, okay, we got it. And then to follow that up with Jordan Burch and Cody Simon and Denzel Burke, it's like boom, boom, boom. It's like Jordan Burch's snaps decreased at Oregon, and then he ended up having a career high in sacks. So it's almost like, okay, we might be able to see the formula. We might be able to use you as just that designated pass rusher, try and keep you fresh. You have a game plan. You can, get your pass, your pass rush wins. You have the size that we need. And eventually, who knows, you might be able to ease into a full-time starter role. But we have pieces here. Like you said, we already got Darius Robinson. We got Walter Nolan to kind of get pressure on the inside. So it's like, we got that. And then you got Denzel Burke. Denzel Burke is a zone coverage guy. I think he will fit with, Jonathan Gannon. And then you went and got Hayden Cooper at guard. I even like that, because to me, Hayden Cooper he can come in and compete with, for a spot on that offensive line and provide you depth if he doesn't, get into that starting lineup. And he was playing that big boy ball down in the SEC. So what I'm saying? It wasn't like he was going against, a bunch of scrubs. So I really like what they did. And the guy that I have, like, even the 7th round pick, where you want to, just go for a flyer. To me, they got a special teams ace in Keaton Crawford.
Mm-hmm.
I think where it's just like, that is just, to me, with what they need, with what they were looking to do, I think they executed it. And I think they became a really good team to build off of last year. And I think they can become a force.
For sure. I'm gonna go with this is not my number one team, but I just want
to show some love. This wasn't my number one team either.
I'm gonna go with the Giants, man, and I'm gonna go out here and say it before I even get to their draft. Brian Daboll and Joe Shane need an extension, unless we figure out he done that goofy stuff with the prank call to Shador and all that. If they got anything involved with that, people need to be fired, like you was alluding to, to that. You know what I'm saying? But strictly handling this business before we get all that information, dot the I's and cross the T's on that one. I think they need an extension, man. I think you want to have that stability of to build off of what they just did with this draft. It's similar to when Justin Fields got drafted, and I said that they need to extend Matt Nagy. He needs to stay at least be 2 years because you're going to ruin him. Mm-hmm. I understand that Daboll and Shane is on the hot seat. I get it. They let Saquon go, and Saquon won the Super Bowl. I get it. They paid Daniel Jones. Like you said, everybody makes mistakes. Hey, the Ravens, one of the best front offices, organizations in the league. Even they have made mistakes. So let's not make it seem like
front offices can't have blunders.
Because the draft class that the Giants had last year was amazing. Yeah, you add that with this, you get Abdul Carter. We know that's the easy. You trade up to get Jackson Dart. I don't care what you think about Jackson Dart. They didn't give up the farm to go get Jackson Dart. So, hey, that was their guy that they thought that this can be the franchise quarterback. Cool. And at the same time, he does not have to play this year at all.
At all.
You can let Russell Wilson do whatever Russell Wilson is going to do. And if Russell Wilson starts thinking it up, you know what? Boom, we can throw Jameis Winston in for a couple of that. You can literally go through the developmental plan of developing Jackson Dart, which you should do. Should do. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter what he can come in here and have a Bo Nix type of year next year. What is that going to do for your franchise? That you're not going to win the Super Bowl. So the best thing about it is get it. I get it. We
try and erase as many bad habits as you can.
I get it. We want to get the rookie contract. We want to do one under the rookie contract. I get all that. The best thing that you really want to do is get it right.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the part. Then, like you said, you come out there, you get Darius Alexander, bro. Like, come on, bro. They go with that defensive line already? Like, he a fringe first rounder?
Yeah. And so, and like you talked about, you didn't even mention Abdul Carter, I don't believe.
I thought I didn't have to go in depth with that.
Yeah, we didn't have to. You don't have to mention Abdul Carter because just you have Abdul Carter, you have Kayvon Thibodeau. Even if they do trade him, you still got Brian Burns, got Dexter Lawrence.
Yeah, you signed Chauncey Golston as the deputy.
Chauncey Golston, and then you throw, like you said, now you throw in Darius Alexander.
Come on, bro! Like that defensive line is going to reminiscent of when they won Super Bowls.
Super Bowl, yeah. NASCAR Packers. They are going to be able to run at you in waves and fresh bodies over and over and over all game. And that's going to be a problem.
In the same way they found Tyrone Tracy last year, boom, now they got Scatterbo, the battering ram. So
it's like now you get to keep Tyrone Tracy fresh, and you know that Tyrone, and then Cam Scatterbo, those cold games in December and January, that's a running back you want for the playoffs. That's one of those running backs when it gets cold, it make it real tough to wrap up. Then people start bouncing off of them, and then you throw in that the versatility of Tyrone Tracy. They had a really, really good draft.
And then you follow up, you get Marcus and Bo as interior. Possibly could move to center, but bare minimum we're gonna play guard. Thomas Fadone, he was the number one tight end coming out the class over Brock Bowers. You know what I'm saying? He just had some injuries, you know what I'm saying? And then you got Corey Black, another cornerback, man. Like you say, bruh, it's the Giants, it's divisional foe for me, but this is back-to-back years that they've been in their bag when it comes to drafting, bro. Like,
yeah, you can't. Sometimes, man, you can't even deny it. You can't hate on it, and it's just like, hey, man, it's another team that I want to show some love to. That I think surprisingly did a really great job in the draft. The Las Vegas Raiders, man.
oh, with all those picks that they had a
Bruh.
with those picks, you can see they also had a plan.
They had a plan, and they built they were able to do things on both sides of the ball that I really do think is going to make this team very, very respectable. And I think they got some guys like there's a couple picks in here that made me scratch my head, and I'll get to them. But I mean, we all know you start out with Ashton Jeanty, and that offensive line, they were able to move people out the way. They just didn't have anybody to take advantage of that space. You throw Ashton Jeanty behind there, if he's able to do some of the things that he could do in college,
Yeah.
That could be a problem, especially like I said, if they're able to clear that path. Getting Jack Bech, pairing him with Brock Bowers, Geno Smith,
Yeah.
you got some things to work with, and one of the corners that I like, man, Darian Porter.
Yeah.
Like Darian Porter, he has that speed. He adds a lot of talent, and he could be a special teams ace for you. And so he covers a lot of buckets that they really needed. I think Darian Porter is going bro. I watching Darian Porter, one of his biggest highlights, I believe, is when he ran down, I think it was Caleb Johnson. Dog. Hey, Darian Porter, I like him. And they went and got hey, Albert, bro, you are right on time. Because I was about to mention Caleb Rogers, but I really want to get to Charles Grant. I think Charles Grant is going to be able to get into that room, grow a little bit, and once he's able to kind of find his footing, whether it's going to be able to be out on the edge or on the interior or wherever they want to use him, I think Charles Grant in maybe 2-3 years, I think he's going to be able to become a high-level starter. So I think this is a really good pick. I don't know, you don't want him starting now, but I don't think he has to start now. And so I think that was one of those smart developmental picks. Like I said, when you have all these picks, go ahead, try and do it. And then, this was an Al Davis pick coming up.
I was waiting for you to get to
Dante Thornton, 6'5", with a 4.3.
That's Al Davis. Al Davis did one of these in his grade. He's like, "Oh, this is what y'all doing. This is what y'all doing."
Al Davis made the call in the first round. Like, hey, yo,
you know what to do.
Yo, hey, stop sending me the voicemail. Go get Dante. But I think that's a great fit. Especially with Geno.
For you to get Jack Bech, though, like say to go with to settle the room with the Jacoby Myers, with Brock Bowers, it's like, okay, cool. We understand everything has a hierarchy, and he still got Michael Mayer too to come in and do some things. So everybody has a pecking order. But now we can expand the field with this dude that just at anything, we know you can just run a 9. We know you can clear out the room. So I'm not expecting. I mean, he could develop into something, but we do know at bare minimum, speed kills, and you have to respect the speed, and he'll be able to clear out some space for them to get greasy. I like what they did. Like I said, they had a lot of picks, and they made the best out of them.
Yeah, and let's not forget, you add Tonka Hemingway and JJ Pegues to that defensive line.
I like
Pegues too, and so not only do you add some guys who can actually give you help in the run game, they both can provide you some juice in that pass rush game too, and that's something where it's like, okay, I see the vision. The one thing that made me scratch my head is the back-to-back quarterback picks with Tommy Mellott from Montana State and Cam Miller from North Dakota State.
I mean, figure it out.
Yeah, and I understand, you got to go get your guy, but with Quinn Ewers on the board, I might have pulled the trigger on a Quinn Ewers over a Tommy Mellott and Cam Miller. Like,
Yeah.
like I'm pulling the trigger on a Quinn Ewers, and then maybe if I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna pull the trigger on a Quinn Ewers, and then maybe go get one of these FCS dudes. I'm not gonna get 2 FCS quarterbacks. I'm gonna try and get one, like, and then y'all can battle it out, and we can see what hit. Because to me, it's just like, I don't know, dog. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
With all the picks that they had, bro, it's hard to hit on all of them.
It's hard to hit on all of them, but that's why I say I'm gonna at least go with one from Texas and then one from maybe North Dakota State or something like that. I ain't about to just do 2 FCS quarterbacks. To me, that's pressing your luck a little bit too much.
Absolutely, man. I feel you. I feel you. I'm gonna go with my number 1 winner, man. I see every time that they came on the board, I liked every pick, and it's hard to in a 7th round draft for you to like
every single
pick. It's like one of them picks got to be like, man, I don't know who this dude is, like, but every pick that the Kansas City Chiefs made was just picture perfect, man.
For sure.
But we seen what happened to the offensive line in the Super Bowl. And one of the main reasons why they lost, for them to get Josh Simmons, who was the number 1 tackle on our top 5, like,
yep.
So, we knew the injury was the reason why he failed. For them to get Josh Simmons, for them to get Omar Norman Lott, like, yo, it's a lot of DTs that been coming out of the Kansas City program that just been beneficiaries of Chris Jones. Okay, let's get one with some talent. Like,
yes,
bro, he's going to love playing next to Chris Jones. And Chris Jones is going to love to actually have somebody good beside him, and he's don't have to make him good. Like, I feel it. And then to go get an Ashton Gelati. Like,
and you know how I felt about Ashton Gelati in this draft.
Yeah,
so
you put
it was really one of those drafts where it was like, him too? Like, come on, man. Like, so, but yeah, I can't even hate. And like,
no way.
That's how that was one of those drafts where it's just like, God, him too? Like, Noah Williams, Jalen
Royals, Jeffrey Bossa, like,
and Jeffrey Bossa. I was telling you about him, and then go ahead, like, who they ended with?
Brashad Smith, bro. Like, bro, for Brashad Smith was, once again, depending on who you listen to, they had him in the 3rd, 4th round. You know what I'm saying? Former wide receiver to move to running back. Now you mean to tell me that at bare minimum, he's just a 3rd down check down guy? In the check down guy? Come on, bro. Like, I it's like say every pick that the Kansas City Chiefs made, like, man, it's like, come on, man. And once again, Noah Williams, the ball hawk. Then Jeffrey Bossa, 3rd best coverage back. Like this, like, Jeffrey Bossa definitely is a coverage linebacker. He may be undersized, but they have dogs that make sure that he's kept clean. You know what I'm saying?
And again, just so I can prove to y'all, I'm not just making this up about they picked everyone that I was thinking about. When we drafted Barrett Carter, I immediately texted Hill and said, see, this is exactly what I'm talking about. You could have just not drafted Demetrius in the 2nd. You could have got Barrett Carter here in the 4th and then drafted Jeffrey Bossa after. And then guess what? Not about 5 minutes later, the Kansas City Chiefs have selected Jeffrey Bossa. And I'm like, and also the Pittsburgh Steelers traded with them.
They go for It
was almost like, you know what, AJ? Because your team's so damn incompetent, I'ma really kick you in the nuts. Here, this gonna make it hurt even more.
Yeah, they was definitely messing with you that day. I mean, yesterday, today, every day.
Every single day.
Yeah, so we got another, because I want to move on to the confusing pick, because I have a confusing pick that I
okay. So since you done with your winners, I'm gonna go ahead and say this winner. The Dallas Cowboys. Bro, the Dallas Cowboys cooked in this draft. And if I couldn't be happy for my team, I damn sure was happy for the Cowboys and Hill over here. Because even when they went Tyler Booker in the 1st round, just as Hill was kind of talking me off the ledge, I had to be like, hey, I understand y'all want a weapon, dog, but hey, look, hey, the draft don't end after the 1st round.
Yeah.
And then Come back round 2. What happened? Both our favorite edge rusher in on our board, Donovan Ezaraku. Man, you pair Donovan Ezaraku up with Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
We talk about what the Giants did.
Yeah.
We talk about what the Giants did. This has the potential to be a better just pass rush tandem than what the Giants are rolling out, than what the Eagles are rolling out. You know what I'm saying? So this could be like, this is because you have Micah Parsons, who is the best pass rusher at minimum in that division, and then in that conference. And like you said, say what you want, I don't think even Abdul Carter has a pass rush bag like Donovan Ezaraku yet. I think he's very like he's mastered the cross chop. He has a plan, and he could do it from both sides of the line. So that also goes in extremely well with Micah Parsons, because they don't have to show which side of the ball they lining up until they about to run up into the line. You might even throw Micah Parsons in the middle and have Donovan Ezaraku roaming. So it makes things so tough. And then with what the Dallas Cowboys have in the secondary with Trayvon Diggs, DaRon Bland, and even some of the uncertainty with their injuries, bringing Shavon Revel in here, coming off of his injury, he doesn't have to be forced to come in and play right away. And then again, you're getting someone with high level, speed, size, and traits, who was a ball hawk. So I'm saying, we talk about ball hawks, and we talk about DaRon Bland, who got the pick 6 record, Trayvon Diggs, and I'm forgetting another person. Jordan Lewis left, right? Oh, he's still there. Okay. But yeah, you bring in Shavon Revel in there with that, and if all 3 of them can get healthy, that's a problem. Then you add your speed. What you want? Hey, you wanted to double up at running back.
I did.
They brought in Jadon Blue, and you was like, okay,
yeah.
I hope we double up. And then you got Shamar James, an off-ball linebacker who can cover. You got a tackle that can give you depth. You got a defensive lineman from UCLA. What's that man's name? Jay Toya. Jay Toya, size, run defender. That's what, put somebody in the middle, get them up there with, Mozzie and all those guys, get some weight up front.
Yeah.
And then in the 7th, who I was like, hey, go ahead and get him. Yes, you got Phil Maffa to go with Jadon Blue. Phil Maffa, 230 something pounds, dog. Like, so now it's like you got speed, you got power, and you got people running behind Tyler Booker, Tyler Smith. You know what I'm saying? Hey, this was executed beautifully, if I do say so myself.
Absolutely. Like you say, draft wise, like you say, draft wise, like we understand Sir Bongs a lot that they, when it comes to contracts, they definitely very slow with it when it comes to that. Like you say, drafting, is what they do. So they got back in their bag. They got a little razzle dazzle for the last couple of years, but this year in particular, you know what I'm saying? They got back in their bag just because they are the Cowboys. I hope Jalen continues to struggle with his ball security. and that was one of the. I mean, you got to keep it going. I mean, that is one of the knocks on him. Like you say, ball security. Like you say, he fumbles, but like you say, based on some of the things that I've read, his ball security issues of him trying to do certain things after contact. I mean, you can help somebody. I mean, Tiki Barber had a fumbling issue. Like,
for sure,
we can figure this out.
And then had some of the most. Then once he made a couple changes, damn near never fumbled again.
Yeah, so we can figure that out. So, and then that's the purpose of double dipping as well. Like I said, if you know what I'm saying, you put you're killing me, Petey. You know what I'm saying? We
put Big Phil in there.
You know what I'm saying? We can figure this out. Cause we about to have a Shador discussion. Cause we want to get everything out the way. But I want to talk about this confusing pick that just had me a little flustered. And the reason why it's confusing me because this was one of my favorite players coming into the draft, like Emeka Egbuka.
Yeah.
For him to get drafted by the Bucks, and I got Ryan said something about this after the pick. He like, I don't really understand it. I don't really understand it either because you just paid Chris Godwin. You know what I'm saying? Get it? You paid Mike Evans, future Hall of Famer, a few years ago or a year ago or something like that. I think his contract running out soon or whatever. Whoop-de-doo, whatever. McMillan showed up too. When Chris Godwin got hurt, McMillan stepped up. So, like, what was the point of you paying Chris Godwin just for you to turn around and draft the first round wide receiver? Like, I get it. Like I said, Egbuka, he definitely does a lot of things, a multitude of things. He can move around, you know what I'm saying? But he kind of operates in some of the same fashions where Chris Godwin works at. So it's like, what was the whole purpose of you paying Chris Godwin? Y'all did all this to stop him from going to the Patriots and all that. You paid him his money for you to turn around with all the other needs that you needed. Like you said, you needed some pass rush help as well. Like, why are you going to Egbuka in the first round? I get Godwin always hurt. So why did you pay him? That's why why did you pay him? That's what I was waiting for. I got Ryan still here. I'm glad he's here. Evans got another 2 to 3 years. Godwin is injury prone, and I don't think he'll be ready for the start of the season. They drafted him for the future. In conclusion, I came to. Okay.
Yeah, but to me, if it was that, if it was kind of like, Godwin is injury prone and we're gonna draft for the future, to me, I don't think getting Emeka Egbuka here, especially with the way, just kind of like things recycle with the receivers. I know they still have to hit, but you already have Jalen McMillan. I think you could have got someone with kind of a skill set to replace Chris Godwin a little bit later, and still try and, do some things to replenish, certain pieces on the defensive end. But again, this is one of those drafts where it was like, hey, go get your guy, go get one of, who's high on your board. So it could have been a possibility that they had a top 10 grade on Emeka Egbuka or something like that. And he just happened to fall. And it was like, you know what? Let's just get this high level talent in here. And again, we think that some of these Ohio State receivers are almost like Kentucky point guards in a sense where it's like they get to the league and they get to actually do a little, like, even more than what they were doing in college, because they not only were they surrounded by so much talent, they were asked to just, do one role because they had to get the rest of the talent involved. So that could be somewhere it's just like, you know what? We think Emeka Egbuka could come in here and take Mike Evans' spot when Mike Evans is gone and be our X receiver and move all around and do everything that we need, kind of thing. You never know. And so I'm not saying I would have done it, but I'm saying that could have been the logic. And if you have, and again, it's just like, I can't praise, other teams for, just allowing, someone that they may have had a extremely high grade on fall to them and then make the move and then think that, hey, just because it's confusing to me, hey, your board might be different than my board. So there's the thing.
Godwin's a stud, and he's ran through a wall for the franchise, playing through injury, etc. Tampa just doing right by him, by the play a good business, really. That is true. I mean, I understand. Every other pick was defense after Egbuka, so you know what I'm saying.
They had a plan. So it's like you still address the defense, and again, that's why I say I can't truly kill it, because they're so, like, when we did their mock drafts, I think each time we went defense because it was like they needed to replenish, talent on their defense. So it's just like, that's just one of them drafts. Hey, go get a weapon that you think can put points on the board, and we'll, stop points on the rest of the way. And I think, I can't be mad at it.
I didn't say I didn't like it, because once again, he's one of my favorite players that was coming out of the draft.
For sure.
I just said I was confused. So go ahead, my brother.
My confusing pick is, it'll lead us into our conversation, is Dillon Gabriel.
What you confused about?
Because it's just like we all saw the writing on the wall
We saw what they was doing, bro.
We saw what they were
They
like.
told
we,
themselves. They told
like,
themselves, bro.
we all saw what was happening. And so to me, first off, if I'm gonna get a quarterback, I'm sorry, it's not gonna be Dylan Gabriel.
Out of all,
Like,
and I like Dylan Gabriel, bro.
But just not right. Like, to me, Dylan Gabriel was one of those, hey, 6th round flyers, hey, 6th round, 5th round, something like that. Hey, look, maybe not where they got him. I'm not getting Dylan Gabriel that early, because guess what? I don't think anybody else was getting him. And again, hey, go get your guy. But to me, if you are going to get your guy, you don't need, if that's what the case, you wouldn't have needed to go get a Shedeur,
bro.
And so my eyes, that's what makes it so confusing, is because, like, yeah, you about to go in and you about to have a legit open competition for quarterback.
Are they?
But I just don't like. I'm sorry. I think they will now that he's on the roster.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because also I don't think with what they have, I think Dylan Gabriel ain't ready. I think, who knows, both of them might not be ready, but I think you'll be able to get by a little bit better with Shedeur. And again, I'm not that high on Shedeur either.
It's not about
I just think he's in the building now, and I think if they had a point that they wanted to get across, I think they got their point across. And also, I think everything else that they did in the draft, I was like, damn, this is a pretty solid draft. Like, y'all are doing pretty damn good in the draft. And so to me, that's what made it so confusing. It's like, yo, y'all are smoking this.
That's when we knew.
And then it was like,
no, that's when we knew.
Yeah,
we knew it was something other. It was something bigger than Nino Brown at this point.
Yeah,
like you say, that's when we knew. We were like, okay, bro, like, we get it, we got it. You passed up on them, you know what I'm saying? People that traded up on you, passed up on them again. You went and got Krishan Jenkins. You did all that. We get it.
And like, how many times did we go through each team and we were like, all right, if the Browns don't get him, hey, the Steelers, what y'all about to do? Oh, the Steelers pass on him. Okay, the Saints got to do. Oh, the Saints. Oh, the Browns just traded up again. Oh, this got to be it. What? And so it just kind of kept going like that. And the next thing you know, it's like Dylan Gabriel.
Once the Saints got Tyler Shough, like, we knew what type of time they was on. We was like, okay,
for sure.
But the thing about Tyler Shough is he don't stop them from getting Nussmeier next year. So it's like, I don't even care about, like, what they did about it. It was it stupid? Yes, makes no sense. Once the Steelers kept passing on him, that was confusing as well. But every time that they passed on him, they did get a player that it was like, you know what? I do understand why you like Caleb Johnson. It was like,
yeah,
I get why you ain't got Caleb Johnson at that point, because once again, we thought he was a second round pick.
Exactly.
He fits the system. I get it. But once, like you said, when it came down to that pick, the Dylan Gabriel pick for the Browns, it was like, bro, y'all already proved y'all point. Y'all humbled him. He failed in the draft. He already embarrassed. Get it. Y'all should have just got Shedeur right then and there and let the game stop right then and there. But or you had a point to prove. You kept trying to prove this point, whatever point you were trying to prove.
Exactly.
And then the owner, I don't have no inside information, but I believe the owner stepped in and was like, hey, look, bro, what are we doing? Yeah. At this point, because you end up getting Dylan Sampson before. Like, you did another pick before you got him. I mean, I get it. Once you got Dylan Gabriel, it was like, what's the point of getting Shedeur now? But it got to the point, it's like, bro, what are we doing? Even when they did the selection, they weren't even hyped. So we can tell you that y'all didn't want him in the building at all. But it was clearly that y'all didn't want. Y'all could have did anything other than Dylan Gabriel, and I think people would have rationalized it. And they might not have understood it, but they would have rationalized it. But the point that when they got Dylan Gabriel, that's when we knew, oh, the fix is in. The call was made. The button was pushed.
Yeah, and to me, it's like, I'm sorry, like, even just some of the things where it's just like the measurables. A 5'11" quarterback going in round 3 who ain't like, you know, an all-timer like Kyler or something like that. It's like,
bro, the deficiency that they said that Shedeur had, and then you go to
And then
You
get
go draft
Dylan Gabriel?
Dylan Gabriel? Like, come on, son. Don't tell me about a strong arm or lack of a strong arm strength, and then Dylan Gabriel was the one. Don't tell me about height and poise in the pocket and all that, and then Dylan Gabriel was the pick. Don't tell me all that. I get it. He had a good interview. Okay, cool. He's not confident or arrogant or whatever. But don't tell me about these deficiencies that Shador got. And you turn around and you
draft Dylan Gabriel.
Like come on, bro. Like
that's the thing where I'm like, all right, guys, like you don't have to do this. We understand. And I will say, like, some of these reports, I hate to kind of side with it, but some of it I think it tracks. I think some of it, because like we kind of hear it, like we heard it, and unfortunately, I think he has a lot of his father in him, and I think like we said this when he was doing that stuff on Twitter, and like we were saying like, hey, yo, dog, like this gonna come back and bite you. Your dad could do that because he was somebody that people couldn't pass up on. And so it's a little bit different when you're not perfect. You know what I'm saying? Don't go into these meetings and being like your dad, like, what pick you got? Oh, I ain't gonna be around for that. It's a little bit different, dog. It's a little bit different because, again, I think you had too many chinks in your armor where they could do this to you. Like you weren't coming in like a Trevor Lawrence or Andrew Luck, where they like, this is one of the best prospects we've seen in how many years. Like shit, it wasn't even Joe Burrow, coming off of an all-time great season. Yes, he don't have the strongest arm, but it's like you just broke damn near every record, had one of the greatest seasons that we've seen from a quarterback, and your precision, accuracy, and all of that stuff, and we see that he was one game over 500 at Colorado. You weren't even one of the best players there, and you were doing a lot of things that were rubbing people the wrong way. So again, you opening yourself up for a lot of this, and I'm not saying like it to this extent was warranted, but what I am saying is you put yourself in this position for them to do this to you.
You said it perfect, bro. You put yourself in position for them to do this to you. And that's the part that I think that people are not really understanding or don't want to grasp that part. Like I said, I get it. Like you said, we want to ride for our guys, and I get it. Like you said, we're rooting for him. Like I said, I'm not hating on the guy at all. Like I said, I hope he has the most success that he possibly can have. Like I said, I have no
Bengals.
I have no ill will towards him as well. But like you said, you gave them a reason to do this. You know what I'm saying? And they made sure to prove who's in charge. They showed that. You know what I'm saying? So
and one more thing, it's like I understand people bring up Baker and people bring up Johnny Manziel and people bring up some of these other quarterbacks that are confident. I have no issue with Shador being confident. I have no issue with Shador being arrogant. I have no issue with Shador being brash and rubbing people the wrong way. But when you when you need other people, you need to know, when the code switch. That is a big part of the game. And you, like, to me, you ain't like you can still be you, but also go into these meetings as if this is the most important meeting of your life. Because guess what? If you actually kind of want to, stand on your own and kind of start building your own, you do need to impress these people. And again, you aren't the perfect prospect, so you can't just say, "Oh, I did enough to impress y'all on the field." And I think that's one of the things where I think he either didn't fully grasp it, or he was ignorant to the fact that you still need to complete that process. And so not showing up to the combine, not doing some of these other things, and also rubbing people the wrong way, it opens you up for a lot of this.
Like you brought up Baker. Like you said, Baker had some of the same attitude stuff that they deem Shador to have. But I can guarantee that when it came to these interviews, Baker treated these interviews like a real interview. Like he didn't show up in the interview like grabbing his nuts, like, hey, bro, you know what I'm saying? Like he was professional. Let's say
and he was probably going in there doing I'm gonna come in and be the hardest worker, this and that, and giving that like the motivational.
I'm a hard worker. That's how I got it.
And talking as if he had the chip on his shoulder, coming in saying I was a walk-on and I went to a Heisman winner and stuff like that. And that's the thing where it's like you can have that arrogance and do all of those things. And I think Shador, you're like, I hate to say it. I kind of already said it, but it's just like you're talking as if you're Dion and you're not.
But
I love you, dog, but you're not.
But let's go back to the situation is we are not privy to these interviews. We don't know what these reports are to. These could be bold-faced lies.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Because now they're trying to spin the press conference that he had at the combine. They trying to spin that as a negative.
Yeah, I don't like that one. I don't like that. That's to me, because to me that was confidence.
Exactly.
That's the confidence that I'm saying. But I'll make it.
He wasn't in the interview the same way. Like I said, that's football, bro. Like
for sure.
And that's what you wanted.
For sure.
So that's what you wanted your quarterback position. So let's not make it seem like these guys are just telling the truth. These could be bold-faced lies. They could be colluding as well. And it's so easy to get on this path and be like, you know what? Yeah, he was in the interviews wilding and dictating what he was going to do and where he was going to go. He was like, oh, the Saints, y'all got the 9th pick, bro. I ain't gonna be here. You know what I'm saying? You could say that. You can report that, and it's easier to believe it because we already think that he's an arrogant, cocky anyway. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? I do want to give him that bell. It's like we really don't know.
Yes, we don't know. But like some of the stuff, it kind of was just like it's very plausible. And again, I ain't trying to like, kick Shador while he's down or anything like that. But like the report that, when he was in his meeting and how he was talking with Brian Daboll, and then Brian Daboll asked him about certain installs and he wasn't prepared for it. Like,
I don't believe it.
But all I'm about to say is, if this is when I say you need to treat these things with the utmost urgency. That's what I'm saying. Because like,
I don't believe that one second.
Hold on, wait, let me finish. And so the only reason why I'm saying that is because like even whether it's true or false, the thing about it is we've seen throughout the entire process and the entire season, the Giants were always around Shador. And that's why it was so kind of like rumored for so long that the Giants are really in play here. And even when the Giants traded back into the first round, it's like, this is where Shador goes. Never mind, kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? And so that's all I mean, where it's just like, I hope that now that you have your team, this is where I'm about to take it, is now that I hope you are on your team, you have your shot, you understand what you need to do, the chip that you have on your shoulder now, use it as motivation, and also understand what you need to do to be able to continue being a leader for your team and put yourself in the best position to not only win a starting job, but be the winner for the Cleveland Browns, except when you play the Cincinnati Bengals.
I didn't want to cut you off, and what you just said was definitely elegant and needed to be said. But let's go back to the Giants for a little bit.
For sure.
Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen were the team that paid Daniel Jones.
Yep.
Over Saquon. Off one season.
Exactly.
Don't tell me about their evaluation when it comes to the quarterback. And
then I'm not doing that at all.
No. Because what I'm saying is he knew what to say. He said, Jackson Dart reminds him of Josh Allen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he reminds you of Josh Allen. I mean, the same thing that you said about Daniel Jones.
Yep.
That reminded you of Josh Allen as well. So you knew what to say to try to get people to try to grasp what you really was going on. And like, once again, I'm not really mad at Jackson Dart. Hey, you could see Josh Allen and I don't see it, but you can see some of Josh Allen and and Jackson Dart, Brian Daboll. Cool. But don't sit here at the same time and try to, try to disrespect, to say the prop up you got.
Right.
Because it really is really not correlated. Because let's not make it seem like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I get it. I champion and I said they need an extension. They need to work with what they got going on. Y'all the same dudes that bet on Daniel Jones. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
So, and that's why that's one of the reasons why y'all
in this position.
In the position you at now.
You know what I'm saying? And you mean to tell me that the style of quarterback that Stefanski have had success with, you didn't fall in love with Shedeur?
And again, that's one of the reasons why I say when someone asked me earlier about how I feel about Shedeur going to Cleveland, I said it's the worst place that he can go, but the best fit that he could be in. Because I think he fits better in Cleveland almost than anywhere else. I think he fits there better than even Pittsburgh and New Orleans. The only other place I could think maybe would have been Las Vegas, to be quite honest. But to me, with the needs and the teams that were available, I think him going to Cleveland was his best bet because, again, I don't think that, even though I think the Rams or the 49ers actually should have taken a look at him, I think with those teams that actually, realistic, I guess, I think Cleveland was the best fit because of Stefanski there. And, like I said, we know the Cleveland Browns track record. That's why I say it was the worst place, but the best fit in a sense, kind of just like tongue in cheek, saying like, their quarterbacks always fail. Yeah. But I think it is the best fit, especially with the draft that they had.
Because you got that two-headed monster at running back.
Bro, hand the ball off and throw some quick ends and smoke screens to Jerry Jeudy and David Njoku.
Let me see. Oh, my fault. Anyone that actually watched the Giants that year understood it was all Saquon making Danny Dimes look like a legitimate NFL quarterback. You just made a great point regarding. Thank you, my brother. Thank you. You know what I'm saying?
We appreciate some acknowledgement. We appreciate you, Brian. Shout out to our guy, Brian.
You know what I'm saying? Before we get out of here, I just wanted to tell you did say that you think Shedeur is the best quarterback in the quarterback room right now in Cleveland, and he's going to start. Are you really sure about that? And the reason why I said that because Joe Flacco was the one that got him to the playoffs, was the fan favorite, and they brought Joe Flacco.
He was back. Ass.
People forget that.
Joe Flacco was ass.
People forget if it's a genuine, legitimate quarterback competition, then I believe Shedeur is definitely going to win this quarterback competition because this system fits him perfectly.
Yes.
But if the politics is going to be involved, we got to remember he is a 5th round pick. Joe Flacco was a fan favorite and got them to the playoff. Despite how he played, he fixed that season, got him to the playoff. He is going to get the opportunity to start.
If it's not like if Shedeur is working from behind the 8 ball, Kenny Pickett will start the season.
Kenny Pickett should be the only one mad today.
Yeah, I think if it's going to be like that, Kenny Pickett will start the season because I'm sorry. Say what you want. Dylan Gabriel, I think Dylan Gabriel might be practice squad.
Listen, you're not practice squad in your 3rd round pick. So off bare minimum alone, even if he is god awful.
Okay, so Joe Flacco going back home. How about that? Joe Flacco is going to the couch.
No, he's not. It's
Kenny Pickett, bro. Ass, bro.
Kenny Pickett is the one that got the short end of this stick, and he possibly is going to be traded.
Kenny Pickett gonna start. Watch.
Kenny Pickett should be traded to the Saints at any minute now.
100%.
Yeah. Come on now. Come on. You know what we do. Bro, because off logistics alone, they still got Deshaun Watson nasty. He's not playing, we know that, but he's still over there. You know what I'm saying? Fan
This is another
favorite.
reason. This is another reason why they should have cut Deshaun
Just
Watson.
cut and just get it out. Get it.
Ate the loss, bro. Why did you
Joe
do that?
Flacco. I'm telling you, Joe Flacco is a fan favorite, bro.
Joe Flacco going to be a fan favorite. Okay, you know what? I'll roll with you. Joe Flacco is going to start, and then he going to throw 7 interceptions in the first 2 games.
And who's gonna come in and save the day?
The pick master, Kenny Pickett.
Hey, y'all can catch us on all major podcast platform. 3Man Weave, Instagram through the 3Man Weave _ You can email us at podcast.3.man.weave@gmail.com. We're about to end up watching the rest of the playoffs. We would definitely it's gonna be heavy playoff talks the next episode. So y'all get it with us. We will be in the group. We want to hear y'all winners and losers, or just talk about your team in general. How y'all like y'all team, how you like y'all draft, and break it down. And be good. Hey man, shouts out to us, shouts out to y'all, shouts out to everybody. And we out.